Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and what the fuck, man, just what the fuck. I did a video a few days ago on how DICE is nerfing things needlessly and by their own admission, by the way, quote, heavy-handedly, and now they are at it again. I mean, what the hell, they are killing me here, literally. I mean, in a blog post a while back, DICE confirmed that Battlefield 4 vanilla build was going to get a big patch with all the nice, CTE changes in it in September, which admittedly there are many of, and some are really good ones, like the new HUD, the new hit markers, one of the easiest and perhaps most requested features, the ticking down triage icon, the fibs that beep when fully charged, netcode improvements, ready state deploy counter screen, which will effectively take out the SSD built-in player's advantage away. Snappier character movement, for example, transitioning from walking to running quicker, HUD customization and screen declutter, visual recoil changes, a third-person camera for jets that's customizable to roll with it or not, and one of the more interesting features, the uniform soldier aiming, which essentially is a feature that basically tunes all scopes, no matter the magnification, into the same sensitivity for the mouse. So, for those that didn't watch my video on it a while back, basically what uniform soldier aiming does is it makes you move the mouse the same distance on the mat in real life if you're using a red dot sight or say a 40 times zoom hunter scope for the same amount of pixels on the screen. That is to say, it won't scroll the same amount of in-game world space because different magnification scopes have different field of view settings, and the 40 times scope is, for example, is like looking through a straw. But if you actually mark up a spot on your monitor with a marker of some sort and then another to the side of it, you will always make the same hand movement no matter the zoom of your scope to move between the 2 points on your monitor. So essentially it helps develop a muscle memory for different scope magnifications. And another feature that they've introduced that's somewhat related to this ADS sensitivity and how it relates to hipfire sensitivity is that it will affect you if it will affect so you can turn down the sensitivity when aiming down sights to a percentage of your hipfire sensitivity. So say you want to be a lot more precise when ADSing, so you turn down the ADS sensitivity to say 60% of your hipfire turn rate. So now your movements are a bit more precise when you hold the right mouse button to ADS. And still related to this, they even introduced several different sliders for different scope groups that you can adjust the sensitivity for. So, for example, you want to adjust the 1 times sights to be, let's say, 90% sensitivity of hipfire, and then medium power scopes like the ACOGs and such for, let's say, 70% hipfire turn rate, and extreme long range scopes like 40 times zoom hunter scopes to be somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say, 20% hipfire sensitivity, because at those distances, with those kinds of magnifications, you want to be able to precisely shoot the stink of a monkey. So, these are all good changes, but on the other hand, they've also implemented some changes that to me, are decidedly wrong. Changes that are fixing the game in a lazy, mallet-like fashion, sometimes even making it worse, in my opinion. For example, it's been no secret that the last few videos I talked about the grenade and the XM25 resupply changes made to the CTE that pissed me off completely. I think those changes were indeed wrong and could have been approached with a lot more finesse, you know. In fact, one of my previous videos I made a suggestion to the grenade spamming balancing idea that I think would have worked, would have been a lot more subtle and would have worked better to combat the grenade spamming thing. You see, reason being, I don't think what DICE implemented is going to help much anyway, but it is going to make me whack the monitor with my keyboard in a rage-induced fit. And if you want to see my balancing idea, I'll link the video to the back of this one. Basically, it has to do with tweaking the ammo box side of the resupply and not limiting the character's resupply times back to the Stone Age. Because, you know, in a fast-paced FPS game, that's just nowhere near fun. And the reason that prompted me to make this video, still hating on more heavy-handed, that's their term by the way, not mine, changes that DICE is in fact that they are continuing to nerf weapons and gadgets in CTE. And I'm just sitting here in disbelief at what they are doing, and I mean, I just want to yell at the screen, you know, no, stop, that is a very bad idea, that is a very bad goddamn change. But, you know, who will listen to me? And these changes are completely, you know, they sent me right over the edge, and the changes are as follows. Once again, they nerfed my favorite slams, the damage of their slams, to the point where, get this, 3 slams isn't gonna be enough to take down a tank with full health. You will need to be carrying double explosives perk in order to have enough slams to even take down 1 tank, much less 2. So, this change, as you can see, well, it just blindsided me. It is a horrible, horrible change, to say the least. Yes, the slams are a lot more versatile than any other explosive in Battlefield 4, except maybe C4, but they've already been nerfed once, and this is just going above and beyond in any sort of, you know, common sense. And in fact, that's what DICE is doing. They are once more trying to pigeonhole us into using the AT mines by making the slams worthless, just as they did with many other weapons when they nerfed them before. And you know, I say more on this in another nerf weapons video, Rant, so I'm gonna try to avoid repeating myself here. Now, they've also changed the way the MBT law works by giving the missile a much further starting distance at which it starts to come down on the tank. So now, you see, the tanks have a lot more time to do something about it. They are also making the Stinger and the Gla missiles much less maneuverable, and the change that beat everyone on the ass is the FAMAS MP7 and the CZ3A1 nerf. Well, I say nerf, you can interpret it as you wish, but basically it's one of the many unnecessary and, dare I say, lazy approaches DICE has taken over the life of Battlefield 4 to tweak weapons, even, you know, the ones that weren't necessarily broken and just went in and completely turned it on its head. So, we all know that these weapons are the only ones in Battlefield 4 that have a staggering 1000 RPM rate of fire. But, while they are shredding machines up close, they also have downsides to them. For example, the vertical recoil, coupled with the first shot multiplier, just made these weapons hard to use. And also the smaller than usual magazine for the FAMAS made it an interesting choice for some. Now, what DICE went ahead and did was take the RPM advantage of these weapons down to a much more earthly 900 RPM range. And sorry, I don't have exact numbers as DICE is being understandably coy about it. They also gave the FAMAS a more standard 30 round magazine instead of the 25 it had before. So as you can see, the result is that it's a lot more manageable, as the recoil isn't gonna pile up 1000 times per minute, and it takes a lot less skill to master, and frankly is one of the more stupid and pig-headed fixes applied to something that didn't need to be fixed in the first place. And speaking of, apparently DICE has applied a new fix to the 1000 RPM weapons in Battlefield 4 because of some bug in the game that more or less has to do with the so-called netcode that no one actually witnessed other than DICE in the game, as apparently 1000 RPM weapons had a recoil bug that seems that the game didn't apply recoil to the first shot, or rather it applied it so quickly that it didn't actually count, so that the first couple of shots, couple of bullets, basically hit in the same spot twice, and that allowed for insta-kills in some cases, provided with, working with the current netcode as it is. So, again, a lazy fix was applied by DICE as a way of sidestepping the broken netcode in Battlefield 4. That's, probably hardwired into the Frostbite 3 engine so deep it's probably impossible to fix by now. And just taken the FAMAS down a notch to make it essentially a bullpup version of the AEK. Interestingly enough, according to the engineer 9710, and this is yet unconfirmed, the FAMAS lost its first place in time to kill to Bulldog after this, let's call it loosely, fix. And, I'll try to close out this video before I start seeming like an insane person, but I will say this. I really started liking DICE a couple of months ago, after the CTE started, and they began fixing things slowly but surely. They made some good changes and gave us some much needed and much requested features in Battlefield 4. But after they started nerfing things left and right, and continuing to do this right up to the September Battlefield 4 patch, it is starting to make me angry. And you won't like me when I'm angry. So thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one. And remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.